Hello everyone, my name is Marianna Dilai. I am Associate Professor at Lviv Polytechnic National University, and today I would like to present the findings of our joint research with Professor Olena Levchenko. The title of the research is Key Color Terms in the Ukrainian Prose Fiction of the 21st Century. The relevance of this paper lies in using corpus-based approach and analyzing frequency of color terms in the modern Ukrainian prose fiction on the basis of a large volume of corpus data. The purpose of the study is to identify statistical characteristics of color terms in the Ukrainian fiction texts of the 21st century and to determine whether color terms can serve as markers of idiolect, genderlect, in particular in terms of their frequency, derivation potential, and collocability. For this purpose, we created the subcorpora of the Ukrainian women's and men's prose fiction of two periods, namely 2000-2020 and 1980-1999 in the GRAC. The names of the authors whose works are in the subcorpora are given on the slide. Also, you can see the list of color terms which were analyzed. In total, 26 color terms were analyzed. First of all, we extracted relative frequency of key color terms and determined color formulas for the subcorpora. That is the order of decreasing, increasing frequency of colors. Next, we performed structural grouping and determined the specificity of the use of color terms, calculating the median and the mode. Then we analyzed collocations, determined thematic groups of color terms, collocates, and identified the topics of distribution groups that prevail in the analyzed texts. And last but not least, we viewed stabilized and individual author collocability and tried to specify the main directions of metaphorization in the idiolect. The analysis of the GRAC data shows that in terms of frequency, color terms are arranged in the order given in this figure. As we see, black is the most frequent and is followed by white, red, green, blue, gray, and other colors. This slide shows frequency of color terms in the Ukrainian women's and men's subcorpora fiction prose. And we see that, regarding the frequency of color terms in the women's fiction prose of the 21st century, gray takes 4th place, and in GRAC it was 6. Green zeleny is in 5th place, in GRAC it was 4th. Синій, блакитний, голубий, blue take 6th place, and рожевий overtakes orange and comes in 8th, whereas in GRAC it was 9th. And violet is more frequent in the women's text compared to the corpus data. Comparing the frequency of color terms in the Ukrainian women's and men's fiction prose of the 21st century, we can say that the difference in decreasing frequency order applies to the colors rosé, pink. It is higher in the male subcorpus and comes in 8th. In GRAC it is 9th, and помаранчевый, orange. Also, in general, we can observe a higher frequency of the color terms in the female subcorpus, except for the color terms синій, блакитний, голубий, blue, коричневий, brown, and багряний, багровий, crimson. The differences have been revealed between the results obtained by scholar Pawłowski and the results of Ukrainian fiction analysis using corpus data, which can be explained by the fact that calculations were carried out on the basis of the other texts and by the fact that the text belonged to another literary style. As we see, the end of the list differs significantly. Comparing the dynamics of frequency in the Ukrainian fiction prose, it has been revealed that the order of color terms frequency is absolutely identical in the female and the male subcorpora of 1980-1999, although there are slight differences in frequency indicators. Furthermore, the frequency of individual color terms varies in different time periods, although the frequency indicators, for example, of zelený, green, do not change significantly. The change in the frequency of синій, блакитний, голубий, blue, and оранжевий, помаранчевий, orange, can be explained by extralinguistic factors, including political ones. Based on the frequency of color terms in the works of the studied writers, color formulas typical of the writers are built. The research results show that the order of decreasing frequency is the same in women's and men's corpora for чорний, black, білий, white, and червоний, red. We can see some differences concerning such colors as сірий, gray, зелений, green, жовтий, yellow, and блакитний, sky blue, and синій, blue. It should be noted that the frequency of color terms used by specific writers differ. Here you can see the formulas built for Ukrainian writers Taras Prokhaishko and Iran Rozdobudko. Some colors are used only by some writers, for example, Bahrovi, Crimson, Demchasty, Smoky, as we see here. And in general, we can say that the quantitative data on the color range used by the studied writers prove that such data can serve as markers of the idiolect. And here are some findings concerning the use of color terms which are on the given list and the use of other color terms not included into the list given respectively for the writers we analyze. This diagram shows a comparison of the frequencies of the color terms червоний, red, and чорний, black. As we see only in Iran Rozdobudko's and Taras Prokhaishko's works, the frequency of червоний, red is higher than the frequency of чорний, black. Thus, this frequency ratio can be viewed as a marker of the idiolect. In addition, structural grouping is used for the homogeneous division into groups that characterize the structure on a certain basis. So the number of groups in our case is 6, and the width of the interval is 0.0166. Then the boundaries of the groups are defined. For each value of the series, it is calculated how many times it is within a particular interval. The beginning of the interval is 0.047 because this is the interval common for most cases, and the most frequent value of the series is 0.0536, and the results for each group are given in the table here. As we see from this table, the typical frequency of the color term чорний, black, is the relative frequency within the boundary of the second group. We do not observe gender formal markers in the use of this color term. The higher frequency of this color term is characteristic of the idiolect of Vasil Shklar and Svetlana Povalyeva, and we also revealed a high frequency of shades of black in women's texts. The findings show that one of the quantitative markers of the idiolect is the specificity of metaphorization, in particular the components of certain semantic groups in structural and semantic models of metaphors. In this case, we can talk about the color attributions to abstract and specific concepts, and the semantically annotated corpus enables automated metaphor search by search request given here. Thus, Vasil Shklar most often uses the color attribute чорний, black, with such specific concepts as clothes, parts of body, vehicle, landscape elements. Furthermore, we revealed a significant ratio of stabilized recorded in dictionaries and individual author word combinations in the analyzed text. Some examples from Vasil Shklar include чорна година, black hour, чорний день, black day, чорні часи, black time, чорного гумору, black humor, and others. And this figure illustrates the frequency of colored terms in the studied text, which is within the range given in the brackets. In conclusion, we can say that the Ukrainian prose fiction is characterized by the frequency of the color terms black, white, red, green, blue, gray, yellow, orange, pink. We revealed some differences between the results obtained by scholar A.Pawłowski and the results obtained by analyzing Ukrainian prose fiction using the GRAC data. Corpus findings showed a higher frequency of color terms in women's subcorpus except for the color blue, brown, and crimson. In addition, we identified frequency ranges of the color terms, and we have proposed a model of the statistical profile of writers idiolect based on color terms. In addition to formal quantitative characteristics, information on the collocability of the studied units is important, in particular stabilized metaphors and individual author metaphors. After the completion of the semantic annotation of the GRAC, it is planned to conduct the research based on a more extensive list of color items. Thank you for your attention, and see you at the conference.